Microsoft has apparently addressed its biggest concern: the lack of exclusive games. The Xbox brand is receiving a ton of games this year and many more in the future. In this video, we are going to take a look at some of the timed and console exclusives that are coming to the system. Let's get started. The Medium. One of the earliest games to be revealed as a next-generation exclusive was The Medium, a new horror game from the folks at Bloober Team. While the studio is no stranger to the genre, The Medium is quite a bit different than their previous output, trading in the first-person perspective for fixed camera angles and an old-school callback feel. The story focuses on a psychic named Marianne, who explores an abandoned hotel resort to unravel a strange tragedy. As the game progresses, she'll travel between the real world and spirit world, sometimes even both simultaneously thanks to the dual reality mechanic. The Medium launches on January 28th for Xbox Series X and S and PC. Halo Infinite. 343 Studios' Halo Infinite is currently planned to release in fall 2021. The game will also see improvements in the visual department. These include better quality of global illumination, ambient occlusion, shadows, volumetric lighting, sky, and atmosphere. LOD popping and texture quality problems witnessed in the revealed demo have also been addressed thanks to the game's GPU-driven rendering and texture streaming solution. Dynamic lighting has also been retuned to add more punch and contrast to the image. These included adjustments to the sun intensity, fog/atmosphere, and the addition of color grading. Players can also expect weapons and vehicles to have more wear and tear, characters to have increased fidelity, and improvements to foliage, grass, and trees. Halo Infinite is currently in development for Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Xbox One. The Ascent. Neon Giant's The Ascent has emerged as one of the few next-gen titles that's worth looking into. We've seen gameplay already, but given the game's action RPG bent, what can we expect in the late game? Along with a dash and explosives, the players can also create a temporary dome. This allows enemy grenades to bounce off, though they're still primed. You can also send tendrils into the ground to kill smaller enemies and incapacitate larger ones, or stomp the ground to levitate foes temporarily. With regards to graphical effects, smoke is one to watch out for. In realistic fashion, firing any gun will fill rooms with smoke. The effect is so pronounced that you might see light rays actually streaming through, highlighted by the smoke. It was also revealed that there are no randomly generated levels in this game, though enemy placements may randomly change. There are no load screens while traversing this giant world, and it's possible to fast travel using the subway system. The Ascent can be played solo, but is also billed as a 4-player co-op game. To that effect, all party members will appear during story cutscenes, which is a great touch. Unexplored 2: The Wayfarer's Legacy. Launching for PC and Xbox this year, Unexplored 2 is a roguelite action RPG featuring an impressive soundtrack and level design. Game director Joris Dormans says, "We're taking a radical approach to procedural content generation. We're creating complete worlds and little worlds within those worlds, stories, quests, competing tribes. When all these systems come together, they will create a game that is almost infinitely replayable." The Artful Escape. You might vaguely remember The Artful Escape, an indie platformer by Beethoven and Dinosaur that was about navigating a landscape of music seemingly brought to life. Not much has changed with the story. It's still about Francis Vendetti, whose uncle was a legendary folk singer, and his struggles to reconcile with that legacy before his own performance. To do this, Francis will explore a myriad of strange landscapes within his mind for inspiration, rocking out the whole way through. No release date has been revealed. CrossFireX. Remember Smilegate's CrossFireX, a port of the highly popular multiplayer shooter that was announced for Xbox One? Remedy Entertainment of Control fame was tapped to work on the campaign, and it's finally coming out this year. Set against the ongoing conflict between Global Risk and Blacklist, the two mercenary factions that form the foundation of the multiplayer, the campaign talks of defying fate and whatnot. It may sound cheesy, but the action looks incredibly sharp, that 2 and 60 frames per second. Remedy's penchant for incredible lighting and particle effects still stands. CrossFireX is slated to release for Xbox One and Xbox Series X later this year. It will also support smart delivery so that Xbox One consumers can play it free of charge on the next-gen console. EXOMECHA. There isn't much known about EXOMECHA. The game was revealed with a brief trailer, and there is a lot going on here, but the game appears to be a fast-paced, competitive shooter with a very Transformers-like vibe, and the feel of you taking on giant robots. Also, there's a giant robot dragon. The game will be free to play and is slated to launch at some point in 2021 for Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC. 12 Minutes. 12 Minutes is developed by Luis Antonio and concerns a map trapped in a time loop. With 12 minutes of in-game time available, the player must attempt to save the man's wife and avoid death himself, all while being confined to a single apartment. It's genuinely interesting and has a solid voice cast with the likes of James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, and Willem Dafoe involved. 12 Minutes is intriguing for its use of limited space and the impact of different choices. Events can play out in different ways, which is a nice way of saying that characters can die in other circumstances. Way to the Woods. Developed by a 16-year-old Melbourne-based student and independent developer Anthony Tan, Way to the Woods is a third-person adventure game in which you play as a deer. Way to the Woods is an absolute beautiful, unique-looking game, and upon speaking with Anthony, we could not have been more impressed. He's an incredibly mature person for his age, with a very bright future ahead of him, and it's mind-blowing what he's achieved thus far. Team 17 is helping nurture a number of studios around the world, and I can't possibly wait to help Anthony achieve his goals. We're extremely excited to be here to share this journey with him, said Debbie Bestwick, CEO of Team 17. To join a label that is responsible for helping teams such as Platonic, Lilith, Moldy Tooth, and many more is a dream come true. I'm so excited to be working with an experienced label like Team 17, and I'm confident that it's the right positive step for Way to the Woods, stated Anthony Tan, founder of Studio Happy Bee. SABLE. SABLE is an open-world adventure game that is due for PC and Xbox Series X in 2021. Featuring an impressive art style, you play as SABLE as you travel across vast deserts set on an alien planet. Unfortunately, not much is known about this upcoming game from Shedwork Games, but it looks intriguing nonetheless. The GUNK. Image and Form Games, better known for the SteamWorld Dig games and more recently SteamWorld Quest, has a new title in the works called The GUNK. It's a 3D platformer that will be coming to Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC in September this year. The GUNK sees players venturing to a planet that's dying thanks to a strange parasite. Armed with a power glove that can suck up the gunk, one can restore the environment to its original beauty. Alternatively, it seems like it will be possible to exploit the planet for your own means. Along with clearing the gunk and platforming, players will also face off against monsters corrupted by the substance. You can use different objects to take them out and learn more about how the parasite took over the planet. All in all, the gunk looks to be a very interesting effort from the studio, and we can't wait to see more. The Last Stop. The Last Stop is a single-player third-person adventure set in present-day London. It centers on John, Mina, and Donna as they deal with a supernatural crisis through various minigames and dialogue interactions. Promised to be an anthology, the game will have all three character stories connect in intriguing ways. SCORN. Much like Cyberdream's point-and-click adventure series Darkseid, SCORN is inspired by H.R. Giger's works, with Zadislav Baskinski also having an influence. It sees a strange, human-like being traversing a grotesque world, which seems to be techno-organic in nature in search of answers. The pistol and shotgun are seemingly showcased along with the various monstrosities that adorn the realm. Announced way back in 2014, SCORN is currently slated to release in 2021 for Xbox Series X and S and PC. It will be a console exclusive for Xbox Series consoles and run in 4K 60 FPS. Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. Darktide is a 4-player co-op multiplayer set in the universe of Warhammer 40,000. You and 3 others are trapped in the hive city of Tertium. As members of the Inquisition, you are tasked with taking out the corruption before the city as a whole falls into chaos. Warhammer 40,000 Darktide is set to release sometime in 2021 for Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and PC. FABLE. Anytime a franchise is getting rebooted or revived after a long hiatus across all media, it faces the challenge of retaining the essence of its predecessors, while also introducing new elements and ideas to take things forward in interesting ways. Microsoft's recently announced and relentlessly leaked Fable 2 will have to figure out what sort of balance to strike between those two things. According to Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, developer Playground Games are more than up to that task. Speaking recently with The Guardian, he compared the challenge Playground is facing to making a new Star Wars movie. Booty also said that Playground's experience with the Forza Horizon series and the attention to detail those open worlds have always exhibited along with their strong vision for what a new Fable game should be, gives him confidence that Fable will be a very high-quality release. Forza Motorsport. Forza Motorsport is currently in development at Turn 10 Studios and will release for Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and presumably PC. Whether or not it will launch for Xbox One remains to be seen. No release date for this game is known, but given that it was announced last year, it's probably coming out this year or worst case scenario the next year. State of Decay 3. Among the many new first-party titles announced for Xbox Series X was Undead Labs' State of Decay 3. We didn't really see any gameplay, but it did hint at what could be expected, from undead animals to snowy landscapes. The game features new threats, which are essentially zombie animals. An element of being hunted by other wildlife is also present, and it seems like there will be even more survival elements. Either way, if the snow-covered landscape is anything to go by, there will be new settings to fight the undead in. State of Decay 3 will be coming to Xbox Series X, and if it follows the pattern of previous titles, PC as well. SENUA'S Saga HELLBLADE 2. SENUA'S Saga HELLBLADE 2 is without a doubt one of Microsoft's biggest and most anticipated upcoming first-party releases, which is a testament to both Ninja Theory and its predecessor, especially because so far we've only seen a brief cinematic teaser for the game. There are still several questions pending though. Will HELLBLADE 2 release on Steam as well as the Microsoft Store? Will it launch day one on Xbox Game Pass like so many other first-party Microsoft titles? Hopefully we will know soon. ARC 2. There were plenty of announcements at last year's The Game Awards that people kept talking about, with the one that maybe was the most unexpected being the absolutely out of nowhere and bizarre reveal of ARC 2 featuring none other than Vin Diesel. Considering the CG trailer and lack of any real details, no one was quite sure what to think, but now we know where it'll land and how involved the Vin is. It was revealed that the game will be a console launch exclusive for the Series X and S and is planned for a 2022 release. EVERWILD. Since revealing EVERWILD toward the end of 2019, Rare and Microsoft haven't really said much about the game, and details on it remain scarce. One thing that is instantly obvious about it, however, is that with its beautiful world and vivid art design, the game is looking to draw players in with the promise of exploring what's looking to be a fascinating setting. EVERWILD is currently in development for Xbox One and PC, but doesn't currently have a release date. Hello Neighbor 2. With an open world setting and self-learning AI, Hello Neighbor 2, which is being developed by Eerie Guest, instead of the first game's developers Dynamic Pixels, is promising to be a much better realization of its intriguing stealth horror concept. The game's announcement trailer shows some interesting gameplay footage that definitely looks encouraging, showing stealth, hiding, a tense chase, and more. Orphan of the Machine. One-person indie development studio Dynamic Voltage Games teased that they'd be unveiling their new game soon, which would be coming exclusively to Xbox Series X, and that game has been unveiled. Called Orphan of the Machine, it's an underwater Metroidvania title in which players take control of a dolphin. Not much has been revealed yet, but the developer states that it is hugely inspired by Metroid, of course, and by Echo the Dolphin, among many other games. Its target 4K and 120 FPS, though the reveal video has been captured at 1080p and 60 FPS. Perfect Dark. After months of rumors indicating as much, and the opposite, the initiative finally unveiled its first project, Perfect Dark. Joanna Dark, or simply Agent Dark, is back for the first time since the release of Perfect Dark Zero in 2005. Set in a near-future world, it focuses on future tech but with an ecological twist. Corporations have been swooping in and seemingly saving the masses, but at what cost? What are they hiding? If previous Dark titles are any indication, then expect a major conspiracy to be afoot, and for Joanna to be the only one who can unearth it. Project Mara. While the anticipation is there for Senua's Saga HELLBLADE 2 from Ninja Theory, the developer has a smaller, arguably more intriguing title in the works. Dubbed Project Mara and announced about a year ago, it was noted to be an experimental title on mental terror. Based on a real-world location, Project Mara takes place within the confines of a single apartment. The team has been focusing a lot on recreating this apartment in as photorealistic manner as possible. The entire process, which entailed using procedural tools to add wear and tear and an organic feel to the environment, is certainly intriguing. Stalker 2. While technically the game was announced quite some time ago, Stalker 2 surprised many by showing up last year at an Xbox showcase. We still know very little about the game, only that it will be on the Xbox Series consoles now and what it's aiming to accomplish there, but we did get a very brief tease of what to expect in-engine. The developer also says that development is progressing smoothly and reiterates 4K support for the game on Xbox Series X. The shooter will also feature ray tracing support on both the Xbox Series X and Series S, in addition to leveraging the console's SSDs. The aim is to deliver the product of the highest quality possible on every platform it's announced for, the developer revealed.
And that wraps it up. If you like what we are doing, please consider subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to switch on the bell notification icon. That way you will never miss out on any of our videos.